You know, and that's what this case is about.
Troy Davis's sister, Martina Correa, a former Army nurse. She served in the Persian Gulf War. She was in our Firehouse studio along with her son, Anthony Dejan Correa. On Monday of this week, this is after they came here, the Supreme Court did take the rare step of ordering a new hearing for Troy Davis to determine, quote, whether evidence that could not have been obtained at the time of trial clearly establishes his innocence. The Supreme Court has not taken such a move in more than 50 years. Sonia Sotomayor is now an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court, but she did not cast her vote in this case. As we turn now to our last segment, we end in Texas, where the presiding judge of the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals is on trial for misconduct for refusing to hear a last-minute appeal from a death row prisoner scheduled to be executed that night. Judge Sharon Keller, who her critics have dubbed Sharon Killer, reportedly denied an appeal from the lawyers for Michael Wayne Richard at 5:20 on September 25, 2007, saying, quote, "We close at 5. Richard had been on death row for 2 decades, was killed later that night by lethal injection. Judge Keller faces 5 charges of judicial misconduct and could be removed from the bench. She began testifying late Tuesday and is scheduled to continue her testimony at the San Antonio courthouse today. For more on Judge Keller and her trial, I'm joined now in Austin, Texas, by Scott Cobb, president of the Texas Moratorium Network, who's been closely following the case. Cobb filed one of the judicial complaints against Keller that was co-signed by about 1,900 people. Scott Cobb, welcome to Democracy Now! Talk about Judge Keller. What is it exactly? Who did she say to "we close at 5"?
Well, she said we close at 5 to Ed Marty, who was the general counsel at the time for the Court of Criminal Appeals. And this was on a telephone call that Marty made initially to her at 4:45 p.m. on September 25th. It lasted only about a minute. And at yesterday's testimony, she made clear that she included the statement, "we close at 5." The prosecutor asked her about a quote she had made in the Austin American Statesman, and yes, and she had acknowledged, yes, I told them, tell him that we close at 5. So,
how significant is this case? Is this unusual for a judge to be on trial like this?
This is an extremely significant and unique case. Keller is currently the highest-ranking judge who's ever been brought up on these type of charges, and it's very significant that the Texas State Commission on Judicial Conduct has charged her and has pursued these charges so aggressively because they take very seriously the reputation of the Texas judiciary, and their job is to protect that reputation, and they see that Sharon Keller has damaged that reputation and brought public discredit onto the judiciary. And so I'm very proud of the way they pursued this case. I was surprised at first, but they've done a good job.
So Judge Keller is the highest-ranking judge ever put on trial by the Texas Commission on Judicial Conduct. Why was the appeal so late that day?
Well, the original reason was because earlier in the day, around 10 a.m., the U.S. Supreme Court decided to take a case out of Kentucky that would have determined the constitutionality of lethal injection as an execution method, the 3-drug cocktail used in executions in Kentucky and here in the U.S. And so the lawyers for Michael Richard found out about that, and they had to rewrite their appeal and submit it based on this new information about the Supreme Court's decision to take the case. And so they spent the day devising a strategy, writing the appeal, but towards the end of closer to 5 o'clock, they began having some sort of computer problems, whether it was email problems, delivering it. It's currently a little bit of dispute, but they weren't able to get the documents to the Court of Criminal Appeals on time by 5 o'clock. So one of their employees called the Court of Criminal Appeals at 4:45 and said, "Listen, we're going to be a little bit late. Can we deliver our documents a little bit after 5?" And that's when the phone call between the general counsel occurred, Ed Marty, and Sharon Keller, who had gone home already to deal with some oven repair person. And so Marty called her at home and got the answer, no, we close at 5, and that was relayed back.
How long does this trial go?
The trial could go today or tomorrow. Could end today, but it could also go through tomorrow.
We will follow it. Scott Cobb, thanks very much for being with us. President of the Texas Moratorium Network. Judge Keller is being tried in a San Antonio court. And that does it for our show. If you'd like a copy, you can go to our website, democracynow.org. Democracy Now! Is produced by Mike Berkshire, Fudo Cadusa, Armante Angeli, Comet, Steve Martinez, Nicole Salazar, Honey Massoud, Robbie Karen, Mike DeFilippo, Miguel Noguera, Peter Curry is our engineer. Special thanks to Becca Staley. I'm Amy Goodman. Thanks for joining us.